Hello, hi, this is Tony Araujo, and again today I thought I would share with you another video in the continuous series of basically how to market and sell your product or services. Now I think this golden nugget, which I call my golden nugget number 3, is probably the juiciest, and I'm sure it'll bring you many sales. It'll bring you people who will be magnetized to whatever ideas you have, be it, like I said, whether you're selling a product or a service, or even selling your ideas, be it wherever it may be, at work, whether you're self-employed, whether you're marketing online, whatever you may be doing, because you're always selling in some form or fashion. This one is what I call the golden nugget of them all. It's the one where you actually neutralize the resistance of the client. Now you may be saying, well, how do you do that? Well, you neutralize that by the focus being on the person you're presenting the idea to. So what does that actually mean, the person I'm presenting the idea to? Well, here's what it means. And I'm going to illustrate this through a story, because I think that's the best way to actually exemplify it. There's a story actually told by a mentor of mine by the name of Napoleon Hill. And he tells of a story of a young salesperson who had just heard him tell a story about somebody had come into his office and tried to sell him something, and how he marveled at her approach. Now this young man was so impressed by that story of the old lady that he took that and he applied it. And the way he ended up applying it was there was one star in the firm, as he was like a newcomer, that kind of played a joke on him, say, hey, I bet you why don't you go try and sell to this person over here. Basically, in many ways, it was a way to mock the young guy, and so he would understand what rejection is, or I don't know why he did that. But the gentleman said, sure, I'll go. And again, applying the lesson that Napoleon Hill had taught him in class, as opposed to not listening like the other gentleman who was trying to get him to be embarrassed by what he was proposing, he decided to go ahead and he entered the residence. And this gentleman happened to be an artist. And if you can guess what he was selling securities, of all the things. But look what he did. He did something very interesting. When he knocked at the door, he initially focused on the artist. He looked at what the artist was doing, and he started to converse with him about what he was doing, what it was all about, and all they did for almost an hour was talk about art. Nothing to do with securities. And that was the interesting part. The focus was not on what I have, but on you, the customer. And what he did is did his homework. He found out who this client was. He found out all about him. He showed a genuine interest in the client and what the client was all about, especially his art, to the point where, where it came to a point where even the artist, and I'm going to read it here because I'm trying not to memorize the quote, where the artist said, okay, so what did you come here for? He says, oh, don't worry about it. It's not important. He actually said, I'm more interested in you and your art. Can you imagine how that made the artist feel? It came to a point where a few minutes later, I guess the artist said, okay, now you have to tell me, what you come. And he finally told him what the circuit is all about, etc. To the point where the artist said, what you did was very different than what others from your organization had approached me about, again, buying securities. In fact, you did it in such a good way, that the artist ended up buying a whole bunch of securities. So here goes this young fellow who was probably very early on in his job and being a salesman in this particular firm. And he goes back to the office, and to the surprise of everyone, he actually made the sale in one of the most difficult clients that everybody had been trying, especially this star that had encouraged him to go to that particular client. So it goes to show you, when you focus on the client by having a genuine interest, and when you do that is you neutralize his resistance to what you have to offer. Because if you go right for the pitch, or if you go right for flattery, it will be detected. It will be, how should I say, they will know a mile away. So therefore, make sure you have a genuine interest and you know a lot about this person, or you know a lot about the organization. Let's suppose you're a salesperson in an organization. Make sure before you go meet that client, you know who you're meeting, and you know the business of that organization to whom you may be providing a service, or maybe wanting to sell your company's product. If you do your homework and you show genuine interest in what they are and who they are and what they're all about and what the organization is all about, I can assure you you're more likely to get that sale. It may not always work, but you even be surprised. Because there's even other stories I can tell you where that person didn't want to buy, but because of the person had such a nice personality, what we would call even, he actually referred him to somebody else who would be interested in that. And you know what they say about referrals? They're one of the best ways to get your sales. So again, this is Tony Araujo. I hope you enjoyed this tip about always focusing on you, not you the customer, instead of I who's selling. If you do that, you'll be surprised how successful you'll be at promoting your ideas, selling your products, your service, or even your ideas, or whatever you have. Anyway, thank you. This is Tony Araujo, and have yourself a great day. And I think I have another golden nugget for you on how to become a master salesperson. And again, thank you. Cheers.